My name is Michael Allemeier. In today's video, I'm going to do a demonstration on how to fabricate and butcher a whole duck. Now, out of this whole duck, I'm going to create two things. I'm going to create duck confit from the legs, and I'm going to create a duck prosciutto using the breasts as well. This is what my station is looking like for fabrication. I've got appropriate cutting board, I've got sharp knives, I've got a variety of different inserts all ready to place my product as I take these ducks apart. I've got my soapy water, I've got my quaternary sanitizer, and I've got clean cloths ready to go. So, what we've got here is a Peking style duck. These are delicious ducks. They average in size between 2 to 2.5 kilograms inside, and they are extremely versatile. There's a lot we can do. First of all, I'm going to look inside and see what we have. So what we have here is the heart, and I'm going to put that over there for stock. And what we've got is a couple of nice fat livers as well. These livers are absolutely delicious. I'm going to put them aside and I'm going to save them because one of my favorite things to make is duck liver parfait with it. And looking further inside, what we have here is the neck of the animal. I'm going to save all of this stuff here for stock. So first thing I need to do is break this duck apart. I'm going to remove the legs first. So I'm going to flip it over here, make a little incision in here, open it up, pop the knuckle out of the back, and cut along to remove one leg. I am now going to remove the other leg. It's very careful. You need to be very careful. It's very important you don't cut into the breast. And you want to just cut along here, taking all of the meat off very nicely like that. Alright. Next thing I'm going to do is take off the wings. And the wings are attached just like here as well. They are going to go into my stock collection. Alright. Duck wings, there really isn't a lot of meat on them, and the meats can be quite tough. So I always just put it into my stock. Alright, now once the wings are off, it's going to be much easier to remove the breasts. So you can see ducks, by just virtue of their nature, this is a little gland. We don't want that, I'm going to just discard that. You can see they're very fatty animals. I'm going to trim some of the fats like this. Now duck fat, in my opinion, is one of the most delicious things we can incorporate in our cooking. And what I'm going to do is render all the fat, because in order to do proper confit, we are going to need quite a bit of duck fat. Now it's time to remove the breasts off of the breastbone. There's a keel bone that runs along the center here. I'm going to take my knife, run it right along the keel bone, down along the wishbone, and then it's just a simple matter of removing the breast off of the breastbone. Now you want to really take your time, do this very carefully. You want to make sure you don't damage the meat, and you really want to ensure that you're getting a good healthy yield at the end of the day. That's a good looking breast. Same procedure for the other side, along the keel bone, down along the wishbone, and then it's just a simple matter of literally peeling this breast nice and cleanly off just like that. So we've got two delicious fat duck breasts here. I'm just going to trim them up a little bit. There's a lot of versatility to using a whole duck if you butcher it correctly. The breasts yield wonderful meat. I'm just going to trim some of the fat off. As I mentioned earlier, we will be making duck prosciutto from this. So it's very important from an aesthetical perspective that it looks nice and clean. Perfect. So what we have here are our duck breasts all trimmed. The breasts will be used for prosciutto. Okay, now it's time for me to continue with the duck prosciutto. So we've got our boneless duck breasts all butchered, ready to go here. Prosciutto is a cured meat product, and these are the ingredients I will be using by prosciutto. I'm using a standard 2-to-1 cure ratio, so I've got 2 parts sugar, 1 part salt. Now for my aromatics, I'm using a bit of cinnamon stick. I've got some fennel seed, a little green cardamom, whole black peppercorns, coriander seed, and a little bit of star anise. Now with the spices, you can grind them if you choose. I am going to keep them whole, alright? I prefer to use them, keep them whole, because it just makes the finished product a little nicer. And I think there's just a bit more honesty of flavor of keeping the spices a little bit whole. So now to mix my curing agent, I'll take my 2 parts of sugar, 1 part salt, and then it's just a matter of adding all my aromatics to it. And with the spices that I'm using, they definitely verge on the sweeter side of the flavor palette. And so there's the cinnamon sticks, green cardamom and whole, fennel seeds, star anise with its wonderful licorice anise flavor, whole black peppercorns, and coriander seed. Then it's just a simple matter of mixing this all together to evenly distribute all the ingredients. Now some people can introduce a bit of nitrate to this. Because we're going to be using refrigeration as our holding environment for this, I'm choosing not to use nitrate. We're going to go with just a straight salt cure and rely on refrigeration as a preserving agent. Alright, so I'm going to take approximately 1/3 of my curing mix, place it in an insert like this, creates a nice aromatic bed, and then I'm going to place my duck breasts on top, like that, and then the rest of the curing agent just goes on top. And it's critical that everything is covered. You want to make sure everything is 100% covered. I'm going to now wrap this in plastic, and it's going to go in the refrigerator for approximately 3 days. I'll know when the cure is done when I feel the meat and it feels medium rare to medium to touch. Then I know it's perfectly cured. So our cured duck breasts have been in the refrigerator for 2 days now. I have scraped all the salt and aromatics off. I've put it on a clean food grade cloth, and I've let it to dry out in the fridge. Drying of the meat is a critical component in making the prosciutto. Okay, so this is our cured duck prosciutto breast. I've created an appetizer for it, and what I'm going to do is just thinly slice it like this. Prosciutto is a cured meat, whether it's made out of duck or traditionally pork, and as a result of the curing process, needs to be carved extremely thin. Sharp, thin knife, slicing it slightly on slightly on a bias, produces paper thin slices, just like so. This is now ready for the plate. So what I have done here is a bit more of a modern plate. We have compressed apple, fennel, pickled beet, and a duck prosciutto appetizer.